Hey, my name is Rafael and you're watching Rock Your Garage, and today we're going to talk about a really interesting thing about Pink Floyd. In case you don't know, in one of their most famous songs called Mother, released in 1979 on their groundbreaking album The Wall, Nick Mason didn't play the drums on that famous track. And the interesting thing is that Nick Mason is the only member of Pink Floyd who was part of all the releases of the band. All the albums, he's the only member of the group who were part of all of them, because obviously David Gilmour entered the band in 1967. Later on, Richard Wright was fired during the sessions for The Wall, and Roger Waters left the band after the final cut. So Mason is the only one who was part of all the albums the band ever did, but he wasn't part of all the songs the band did. And one of them is Mother. I'm gonna explain to you why they bring the legendary Jeff Porcaro, but first, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, leave your comment below, tell me what you think about this, if you like that song or not. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And okay, the thing is, Jeff Porcaro is just one of the most incredible drummers of all time. He might not be as known as John Bonham, as Neil Peart, or Bill Ward, or anybody you can name of, but Jeff Porcaro was one of the most versatile and most amazing drummers of all time. He was obviously more known for being the drummer for Toto, which is a great band as well. But besides his work with Toto, he was a really accomplished session drummer. And the reason why he replaced Nick Mason during the recording of Mother was explained by Roger Waters in an interview with Musician magazine back in 1992. And the explanation that Roger made was because the Roger shared was because the song wasn't the standard Floyd time signature that was most of the songs in music are 4/4. This time signature of 4/4, and it means I'm not a musician, I'm a journalist, so I had to get this explanation from the experts. It's because most music is in time signature of 4/4. It means that there are 4 quarter notes in each bar of music. But what happened with Mother, it was because the song was in 5/4, so it was a different signature. And when a song is in 5/4, it means that it has 5-note beats in each bar of the music. So it's different, and it's obviously harder to record. It's something that most musicians are not used to it, so it's different. And you're gonna see it here, what Roger Waters said. So, quote, on Mother, the timing follows the words. I'm gonna read this as the music, right? As you probably remember. Mother, do you think they'll drop the bomb? It's more like that, right? How many beats is that? 9. It was very difficult to get it to work. You can't, he then mimed the standard Floyd 4/4 signature during the interview. There is no rhythm that carries on straight through like that. You gotta find a way of floating through it, which Jeff Porcaro did immediately. So that was the explanation that he shared with the Musician magazine back in 1992. And a really interesting thing is that Jeff wasn't the only member of the Porcaro family, big musical family, that was part of The Wall. His father, Joe Porcaro, who passed away recently in 2020 at the age of 90, he was also a respected session drummer, and he played the snare drum on the track "Bring the Boys Back Home." So you had two Porcaro musicians playing in the Wall, and that was really, it's really interesting that you probably think, oh, Mason played all the tracks, and he didn't. Sometimes Pink Floyd had another drummer, and that's really interesting. And another interesting thing is that Nick Mason really loves Jeff Porcaro's work, and he revealed it in a radio interview we transcribed. You can go to the description and read all these things I'm telling you in the article we wrote. And he said in a radio interview back in 2020, which is really interesting, we transcribed that interview, and he said, Nick Mason said, you're going to see it here, "I've always liked Toto, liked those songs, like what they do, but also Jeff Porcaro, who's the drummer, is a drummer's drummer. And I realized this completely apart from my own view of it when my grandson told me that he was learning in his drum class. In fact, it was, of course, a Toto track, so it's 3 generations of fans, really. And as you know, The Wall is one of Pink Floyd's best-selling albums. It only didn't sell more copies than Dark Side of the Moon, and in fact, it charted the United States charts for 15 weeks at the time, and it sold an estimated amount of 33 million copies worldwide. But Dark Side of the Moon sold an estimated amount of 50 million, which is way beyond that. And the interesting thing is that Jeff Porcaro still worked with Pink Floyd later, if you can consider that, because he played with David Gilmour on his solo albums, on a few of his solo albums, and also with Roger Waters in his solo career in the studio. And you can see how incredible he was, because he obviously was the drummer for Toto until he passed away. But he also worked with, just a huge variety of musicians you might not even realize he worked with. He played with, for example, Michael Jackson. Most of Michael Jackson's famous tracks, it was Jeff Porcaro on drums. He played with Elton John, Paul McCartney, Bee Gees, Bruce Springsteen, and it's more than, it's dozens, it's hundreds of artists he worked with. And he was just this incredible artist who sadly passed away too soon. He passed away at the age of 38. And the reports suggested that he became ill while spraying insecticide in his yard. But the coroner also said that he had a heart condition that might have contributed to his death in the early 90s. And it's really an interesting story about that, and I hope you liked the video. And please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, leave your comment, and of course to visit rockandrollgarage.com. Okay, see you later.